Thank you for logging on to the PawCast for the week of Monday, February 15th through Friday, the 19th. Hello, I'm Mr. Andrews, and it's time for some Pawville news. This week in math, we're going to continue with adding and subtracting fractions. And that's been a little bit of a stumper so far because we're having to go from, adding fractions with common denominators in fourth grade to now finding the same size pieces. So when we're adding 2/7 and 4/5, sevenths and fifths aren't the same sized piece. So we're having to make equivalent fractions with a common denominator. And that's been a little bit rigorous because there's a couple of extra steps to that. And after we do that, we find equivalent fractions. And then from there, we add or subtract. And then we have to simplify. And those are all steps that are brand new. So we're still working on that. And we'll continue to develop that, as well as add and subtract mixed numbers. And sometimes that means we have to borrow, rename, or carry. So we have a fun-filled week full of fractions. I fully expect students to be reviewing, or not reviewing, but actually accelerating themselves by watching the videos for 5.nf.1 and 5.nf.2 and watch those video lessons on LearnZillion. And it'll be a great way to prepare yourself and to review what we do in class. In science this week, we're going to add the ideas of force, mass, to the notion that we've already been working with, motion. And we'll also talk about how gravity and friction affect motion as well. These lessons that we're doing right now are mostly just an overview of what's going to be happening for the next 4 to 5 weeks. As we talk about Newton's laws of motion. And so we'll get started on those and after our overview this week. In guided reading, we're going to continue with our centers, and our main theme this week is going to be author's purpose. And we also want to continue thinking on terms of persuasive writing. And when we read persuasive types of writing where someone is giving their opinion, how do we find, first of all, read for comprehension, but then how do we find out what the author is trying to say and the point of view? We're also going to be in social studies this week. We're going to begin talking and front-loading information for Washington, D.C., and that is just the forerunner for the next 3 weeks, in which we're going to immerse ourselves in all kinds of great things that we're going to be learning and seeing as we go to Washington, D.C. I want to make sure that all students are consistently and constantly monitoring their stock market portfolios. And remember, before you make any kind of decision, we need to have a consensus with your stock market team members. I want to make sure that all of our parents are mindful that our Washington, D.C. meeting for all parents that are not going, but you have a child going, all students that are planning on attending, and our chaperones, we're going to have a big meeting on March 16th at 6:30. That'll be in the cafeteria. That's going to be the place that you will find out who your rooming group is, who your tour group is, and which bus that you will be riding on. We'll also talk a little bit more specifically about our trip and a way that you might want to decide what to pack, how much to pack, and also any spending money and things like that. But most importantly, you're going to get a chance. If you're a parent that's sending your child, you are going to have a chance to talk to the person who will be giving care most directly to your child and your child's chaperone. So, very important evening, March 16th will be the time.
one will we learn about this week?
So, where in the United States is Mr. Andrews this week? Well, on this week's state, as you can see, I haven't visited the state capitol building because it's a little bit off the beaten path, but I have been to both Major League Baseball stadiums in this state. So I guess that would be clue number one. This state has 2 Major League Baseball teams. Another fact that might help you is knowing that the soft drink Dr. Pepper was first introduced at the 1904 World's Fair. Also, 7-Up was invented in this state. This state is situated within a day's drive of over 50% of the United States population. This state is sometimes considered the gateway state, or sometimes it's referred to as the show me state. So, which state am I in, and what is the capital city? That capital city that was a little bit too far off the beaten path. And if you look at a map of this state, you'll see what I mean. I would like to go back to this state and visit its capital, though. Remember, you need to have a parent's signature, and remember to put your name on your bonus answer. Good luck.
Where is Mr. Andrews? He's in the U.S. He's at a capital. Oh, which one will we learn about this week?
Let's all have a great week together, and let's all get the big paw.